Hello, I'm attorney Dan Marr from the New Hampshire law firm of Hamlin Kerrigan here in Nashville. I've been practicing law for here at Hamlin Kerrigan for about 37 years, 38 total. I worked for the courts for a year before I came here. And I've been in Massachusetts, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, practicing law for approximately 28, 29 years. And during that time, I've represented a lot of people and businesses, both in transactional and litigation. And I've dealt with a fair amount of clients that are purchasing or operating franchises. And we're going to be talking today about buying a franchise. So a franchise obviously is a group of stores like McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, Planet Fitness, where there's one corporate headquarters that has agreements with people that license out the rights to use their name and follow their protocols in the operation. You have to follow, for Planet Fitness, you have to follow their colors, and the McDonald's, same thing. And any of these franchises, you have to follow the strict protocols. But the benefit of that is there's name recognition, of course, and you got for the services or the goods that you're providing. When you go to McDonald's, you're going to get a Big Mac. When you get Planet Fitness, you're going to have the similar layout and you're going to have the similar pricing that's there. So you have that brand recognition, and customers feel comfortable, and therefore you get more influx of customers. You have to follow the rules, of course, though, too. One of the things, though, when you're considering a franchise, you have to take a really hard look at the franchise documents with an accountant. I have, again, a lot of clients that are successful with franchises, and I'm going to indicate for the right people it's an absolutely good idea. But it's not, you don't have the ability to make your own decisions on a lot of things. You have to follow their protocols. Generally, what you are thinking about in a franchise is you're thinking about scalability. In my clients that have had franchises, whether or not they're a small restaurant and they're building on them, or a health club, or any other type of franchise, generally, talk to your accountants about it and run the numbers. One store or one location is probably not going to be enough in most situations. There could be exceptions to that in franchises, but a lot of the franchises, it's a scalability, and you have what's called in the franchise agreement, what's called an Area Development Agreement. They call them ADAs, not to be confused with American Disabilities Act. ADAs are actually an agreement where you're supposed to be building in this area a certain amount of locations, and if you don't, they'll pull those back from you and let somebody else build those locations. And if you have a bank that can finance you and you can make some money on those, you can do quite well. So say you and a partner, and you have one location, and that one location you're making about $50,000 a year in profit. Well, if you scale it out and you get 5 locations, for one, you're going to have centralized management in that company with payroll and HR and running of the place for your own operations. But you're also going to have probably more profit, and even if that 50 turns up to 60 when you think about overhead, but you have 5 of them, then you have $300,000. It makes much more sense. You get 10, you get 20 of these locations. You keep on doing with bank financing. That scalability is where you really make your money on most of these deals. You do have to consider, when you're dealing with the franchise, that the franchise is telling you usually, or giving you an indication of where you should be placing this location. And you should listen carefully, because if they're a successful franchise, they have an idea of where the traffic is and where, for your particular business and what you want to try to deal with. And you're going to have to build out the place exactly to their needs. There's negotiations sometimes to be had that I've dealt with for clients as to whether or not the landlord themselves are going to be doing the fit up. And if they are, they're going to be increasing the rent, of course, so that they basically are your bank for some of the fit up, or at least a portion of the fit up, or all of the fit up, and they're going to consider that for the lifetime of the lease. If the bigger the fit up, the more long length they want of the lease. I have clients that have 12-year leases and 2 6-year renewals, so they have up to 24 years. I have others that have 3-year leases, and there's not much, they're smaller locations and they don't have much tenant improvement done by the landlord. So all of that is something that's negotiated with the landlord. The landlord, if they pay some of the improvements, of course, they're going to want to make sure they have a better rent and a longer term. They're going to probably want a guarantee from you. I don't know of any landlords, at least when you're starting off, that are not going to require a guarantee. There's possibilities of a holding company. We've dealt with those in situations where the holding company is the guarantee and it has sufficient assets. All of those things are negotiated with the landlord. When you're dealing with the ability to buy up the other locations, you really want to find out whether or not your bank is the right bank to be able to continue on with the legacy of the scalability of adding more stores. You want to get that. You want to get a good accountant. I've dealt with these a fair amount. I'm happy to help with any discussions you have in regards to this if the opportunity arises. I'm Dan Marr at 603-883-5501. You can check out my vlogs that are weekly at going to the website of the firm of nationallaw.com. That's nationallaw1word.com, and click on my blog, my bio, and then the vlogs, and you can look at them by topic. So again, Dan Marr, 603-883-5501. I've represented a number of clients of buying and selling businesses, and happy to help if the opportunity arises. Thank you.